Hey folks, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we're doing one that I haven't really super mentioned, but I've kind of been putting it off because it's Dark Web, which is a crossover event from Marvel for several characters. Spider-Man, Venom, X-Men, a little Miss Marvel in there. And I was really excited for it because I loved the Spider-Man Beyond stuff. And then I liked the first two volumes of the Wells Ramita Jr. Amazing Spider-Man, which lead up to this. And I haven't reviewed them yet. No, that was like the first three volumes. I reviewed volume 1. I haven't reviewed volume 2 and 3. And then I'm not going to review volume 4 because every issue that's in volume 4 of Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, volume 4, Dark Web, is in this Dark Web omnibus. So there's no point in me getting volume 4 because all the issues are in here. But I will get volumes 5 and 6 and 7, 8. I'll keep getting them because I want to keep up with Spider-Man. But let me tell you, the Dark Web event fucking sucked. I didn't like it. I like the idea of it. I like the core concept. Not a fan of the execution. Let me read you the back of the book. The worlds of Spider-Man and the X-Men collide. Marvel's two most famous and famously wronged clones, Chasm, Ben Reilly, and the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, who's getting a figure soon, I should get that, are back. They've had enough of being second best, and they're going to claim what's rightfully theirs. The sun is setting, and it's going to be a long night for Spidey and the X-Men. But what role does the volatile Venom play in the clones' vengeful plot? And what will become of the young hero Miss Marvel when she ends up trapped in limbo? The dark web that Madeline and Ben will spin over Manhattan is going to change the NYC skyline forever. Collecting Dark Web number 1, Amazing Spider-Man 2022, numbers 15 through 18, Venom 2021, number 14 through 16, Dark Web X-Men numbers 1 through 3, Dark Web Miss Marvel 1 and 2, Dark Web Finale number 1, and material from Free Comic Book Day 2022, Spider-Man Venom, which I also have as a single issue. Excuse me, by Zeb Wells, Al Ewing, Ram V, Gary Dungan. This is going to be a long list, so buckle up. Sabir Pirzada, Adam Kubert, Ed McGuinness, hell yeah, Brian Hitch, Rod Reese, Phil Noto, Francesco Mortino, John Romita Jr., Cliff Rathburn, Andrew Curious, Scott Hanna, Frank Martin, Marcio Menez, Alex Sinclair, Protobunkers, Fair Souffle Sujo, God, I butchered that, and Gru FX. Whoa, I don't know where this coughing is coming from all of a sudden. But it's rated T from Teen for Marvel Comics. Also, there's a lot of cover arts you can get that connect into a big portrait. Whoa. Anyway, let's continue with Dark Web. So, didn't like it. So the Goblin Queen is using Limbo to bring just like everyday inanimate objects to life, making them into monsters that want to eat people. All right, that's fine. But they're all cracking jokes. Every single one of these monsters is constantly joking. You can't take them seriously as a threat, I feel like. They joke too much. A villain joking is fine. I mean, the most popular supervillain of all time is the Joker. But there has to be something to the joke. I don't know. There has to be more to it. There has to be a point. These are jokes for joke's sake, people. I just don't like it. You can't take him seriously. So many of the jokes fall flat. And then also it feels like Spider-Man's making jokes the whole time. Ben Reilly Chasm is making jokes the whole time. Miss Marvel's making a lot of jokes. It's just jokes and jokes and jokes. And yes, I know Spider-Man is a heavily comedic book. He's got the quips. He's the original quipster. You know? A lot of his villains are funnier. That's fine. But you gotta know when to draw a line, people. You have to know when to draw the line. I like Ben Reilly's new look, and I like his cool new powers. But here's the thing. Marvel keeps trying to make Ben Reilly a villain, and then they reel him in, and then they make him a villain, and they reel him in. Ben Reilly needs to be a more sympathetic villain if you're going to villainize him. And I'm going to be completely honest. I liked him when they first did the villain thing with him. I don't know if you've read the Clone Conspiracy event, but I read it as it was coming out, single issues back in the day. And the Clone Conspiracy was such a damn cool event with Slott and Spider-Man and Silk and stuff. And it was the Jackal, and he was cloning all of Spider-Man's dead loved ones. And then he was keeping like a lot of the living villains and stuff in check for Spider-Man. And he was kind of this anti-villain. And then it was revealed that it wasn't the Jackal. It was Ben Reilly. And it was an amazing reveal. And it was so well done. And you believed Ben Reilly as an anti-villain. And then after the Clone Conspiracy, he became the Scarlet Spider again, got his own title, and it sucked. And I only read it as far as I did because I love Kane. It was terrible. I read like the first 4 to 6 issues. And I will be reviewing the trades of it. Simply because I love Kane. But it was bad. But he was amazing as the Jackal. Not only did he have a great outfit, like he was fly as hell, but he was a villain that was pretty much almost right in what he was doing. He was so cool and interesting, sympathetic. It made sense. Ben Reilly was the Jackal for a little bit, and it made so much sense. And Ben Reilly being Chasm makes sense, kind of, but you also kind of know he's wrong. In the Clone Conspiracy, when he was the Jackal, he wasn't 100% wrong. I don't think he was even really 50% wrong, if I'm remembering it correctly. I haven't read it in a long time. But in this book, he's just straight up in the wrong. But it's also Ben Reilly, a character you love. So Chasm could have been cooler if they made him a more sympathetic anti-villain, I think. People don't give anti-villains enough credit, I feel like. And a lot of anti-villains become anti-heroes, you know, they're walking that line. Like, you remember when Jason Todd came back as Red Hood, he didn't immediately start out an anti-hero. He was an anti-villain first, because he was controlling all those gangsters and under the Red Hood. And then you had him as a very cool looking Batman in Battle for the Cowl. And then you had him as Red Hood again in like Morrison's Batman and Robin. That was all anti-villain Red Hood. He became an anti-hero later. And a lot of people call anti-villains anti-heroes incorrectly a lot of the time, I feel like. At least based on my understandings of these things. But what's happening is Chasm and the Goblin Queen, who's Madeline Pryor, a clone of Jean Grey, have teamed up because they want the memories from their, I guess, donors. Madeline Pryor wants Jean Grey's memories. She wants her memories of, like, her children and this life that she didn't get to live. And Chasm wants all the memories that he lost, because he doesn't remember Uncle Ben or anything, so he doesn't have the responsibility anymore. And I don't think I reviewed all those Spider-Man Beyond books, but I will. Anyways, they kind of brainwash Venom and stuff. And I just gotta say, if this story was just a crossover of Spider-Man and X-Men, nobody else, it could have been a nice 2-title crossover. I really think this could have been a nice 2-book crossover. Not 2 issues, but 2-book. Just a couple issues of Amazing Spider-Man, a couple issues of the main X-Men title. It could have been a nice, tight little story. But it got too big for its britches. In my mind, there's no fucking reason Venom should be here. This honestly takes away from Venom's story, Venom's Al Ewing story, which I think is great. Puts it on pause for this thing that he's not involved in. Venom is literally only in this because he's crazy fucking popular right now. I mean, he has been since the 90s, but since that Donny Cates run, symbiotes have taken off to even newer heights, which is great for me because they were already my favorite thing in Marvel. But Venom's just in this to add to the marquee value. That's it. And then Miss Marvel, it's kind of the same. She's got 2 issues, and her issues are actually good. They're some of the better ones. But at the same time, she's just kind of in this because she works in the same place as Peter, and they were planning on shoving her in the refrigerator a little later anyway. And I made a video, I don't think it was on this channel, I think it was on the second channel, where they were killing off Miss Marvel, and everyone was either super happy because they hated her, or super upset because they loved her. And I don't understand why people do that. I mean, this is corporate comics. Nobody stays dead. And I predicted that in the video. Like, I don't even get upset about corporate comic book deaths. They mean nothing. They mean nothing to me. They killed her not just to fridge her and help out Spider-Man, but also because she had a movie coming out and they wanted to drum up buzz with her name. But they brought her back. Now she's part of the X-Men too. She's an Inhuman and a mutant, which is honestly kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, I like her. I like her X-Men outfit. But now, looking back on this, it's like, oh, maybe she's in this event because they knew she was going X-Men. And I do feel like at this point they did know that they were going to have her be a mutant also. But I also want to say this still could have been a tighter event without her. Even though her issues are kind of my favorite ones, oddly enough. Anyhow, Spider-Man's running around in his super cool kind of suit with the little golden parts that Norman Osborn made for him. Norman Osborn had all his sins removed in the, I think it was Neil Adams' run of Spider-Man, which was very good. I actually love that run. It's a long one, but it's good. So Norman Osborn is like an actual genuine good guy now, and he's kind of become the golden Goblin, Golden Glider, something like that. I don't think he's the Goblin. It doesn't matter. He fights Chasm. Venom shows up. It's Eddie Brock Venom. So odd that Eddie Brock Venom just takes this detour from his very complex story with his son and stuff. It's just so effing odd, and they regress Venom so much in this. I don't like it. I don't know. Chasm should have been characterized differently. Venom shouldn't have been in this effing at all. Miss Marvel could have been in it, but she should have just been in the Spider-Man issues. There's just too much going on, And it doesn't all need to be going on. There's a lot of different art styles because there's a lot of different titles. That's fine. They all seem pretty good. I mean, they all look good to me. I still need this Chasm Marvel Legend. I do like the look. But eventually, a lot of people get taken to Limbo. Like J. Jonah Jameson, I actually think his stuff in Limbo is kind of funny. I'll admit it. It goes on a little too long, but what there is kind of funny. And they also make like this demonic version of the Sinister Six called the Insidious Six. It's kind of neat. I like their character designs, like a skeletal rhino and stuff. Some of them are pretty cool, like a Kraken the Hunter, which is like a cephalopod octopus craven. That's cool. Grave Goblin, he's like an undead purple kind of green goblin, and his glider has like a coffin. It's made out of a coffin. And then there's a Dr. Octopus who is just straight up a Gary Gygax Dungeons and Dragons beholder. 100% he's just a beholder with fucking Dr. Octopus's haircut. 100% that's all he is. And then they make this kind of weird Limbo Spider-Man who is so unfunny I could puke. He's called Wreck Rap, which is Parker backwards. It's like a fucking I don't know. He's just this like he's buff like the Hulk, and the spider on the front of his costume is more reminiscent of the spider on the back of Parker's, and he has this huge, weird mouth. I didn't like him. I thought he was annoying and stupid, and he's clearly just there to be a joke and nothing else. But that's the thing about a lot of the bits in this, is they run so long. And I like the All Hallows Eve, how she's got like the different Halloween masks that give her different powers. That's just a fun comic booky thing. I'm glad she's here. Chasm becomes King Chasm, which is it's like a more demonic version of Chasm, which is okay design-wise, I guess. I don't know. This is just not a lot that I enjoyed here. And also, it kind of seems like these comics also aren't in the correct order. Like, they're not in the order they were published, it seems like. Because I'm reading them, and there's stuff that you see, and it's like, wait, why is this that way? And then a couple issues later, you're like, oh, this issue clearly came before the one I just read. What the hell? Because Madeline Pryor ends up actually realizing she's in the wrong. Because Jean Grey is like, Madeline, if you would have just asked me for these memories, I would have given them to you freely. You deserve to know your children and stuff. Like, you can just have them. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. This is a good moment in the book. That was a really good moment. Jean Grey sitting with Madeline Pryor and being like, you can have these memories. They're just as much yours as mine. Here, take them. Let me help you. And then Madeline Pryor is like, okay, now I'll help you. But Chasm gets out of hand, takes her big-ass scythe. And I do love scythes. And we get kind of a new Red Goblin who almost looks anti-Venom-y. There's a lot going on. There's this whole Venom section with Normie and Dylan, and it just doesn't need to be in here. Dylan and Eddie just had their own thing going on. This Venom stuff is it's distracting, honestly. There's a big fight with Bedlam, and this all could have been just in Venom's book without crossing over with Dark Web. And I am reviewing this Venom run, and I will review more of it soon. I really am enjoying it. They only have the best of the best work on the symbiotes these days, so it's pretty cool. Anyhow, they fight Chasm. You know, everyone gets together, and they commit violence upon their persons. I just couldn't get into this. There was actually a point about halfway through this omnibus where I was just like, do I have to finish this? Like, I know I paid for this book. Actually, I pre-ordered this book because I was excited for this event. And I was so let down. I genuinely considered not finishing this. Do you know how rare that is for me? I finish my comics. And me seriously contemplating not finishing this book is pretty damning. I feel the need to say that. Anyway, Miss Marvel fought a bunch of like cybernetic bird people. They're all kind of luminaries. Well, I guess luminaries is a bit of a Kamen Rider ghost way to put it. But they're all like influential geniuses from the past who, or at least these bird cyborgs have been programmed to think they are these people. And admittedly, they have absolutely baller fucking designs. I don't know who my favorite is. It's either Marie Curie or Nikola Tesla. Marie Curie, by the way, personal hero of mine. But they, oh my god, they just have such cool designs. And Tesla's like a toucan, but he looks so cool. Yeah. Marie Curie is a pheasant, and it suits her so well. God, I love the Tesla ones. But there's also a Leonardo da Vinci, who's a marabou stork. I think those are the big scary ones. And then there's Philo Farnsworth, who's an Atlantic puffin. I'm actually not as familiar with that person in real life. And Thomas Edison is a cockatiel. Thomas Edison, of course, a famous hack and con man that didn't invent the stuff that he's credited for inventing. However, Marie Curie actually did her research and got it stolen from her, much like Thomas Edison would steal the inventions from others. Anyway, let us continue. So, Miss Marvel and also Miles Morales shows up to help. They're fighting these cybernetic birds, which is a continuation of a Miss Marvel story I haven't read, but still really was enjoying. And also, there's stuff about her love life, and I mean, it's always, I love her interactions with Miles. And where the hell is Sam Alexander? No, seriously, where the hell is Sam Alexander? I have no clue what Marvel is doing with him right now, but I love him as a character. I read that original run of his, that original Nova run. Well, it's not the original Nova run. It's the original Sam Alexander Nova run. Read that single issues back in the day. Great book. He's a great character, and I love the chemistry that he has with Miles and Kamala. And I love them in Champions. I love all three of them individually. I love them all together. I effing love the Champions, dude. I don't really follow the MCU anymore, but things I want in the MCU are the Sentry, Dark Avengers, and Champions. Give me the Champions, please. I will take them. I will take them now. I will take them now. Worst comic ever. I've also been watching a lot of Simpsons. That's right, I'm rewatching The Simpsons all the way through because I'm insane. But Ben Reilly kind of gets a very beautiful jail cell in Limbo after they eventually do defeat him. I'm not going to give you the deets 100% how, because even though I don't recommend this book, I'd also, like, if you are interested in the story, you should read it yourself, in all honesty. But I didn't like it. That doesn't mean you won't like it, but I didn't like it. But I mean, Madeline Pryor being on the side of the Angels, and a lot of stuff being done differently with Limbo. Limbo even getting an embassy in New York City, which is honestly genuinely interesting, and they could do so much with that. Because, you know, the X-Men have a big old embassy in New York as well. I believe it's in a park. And it actually does play a big part in this story, because Limbo is attacking the embassy. And they take a bunch of non-mutants inside it, which is kind of a big debate. But, you know, it's also got a big ol' variant cover gallery in the back. You know I like variant cover galleries in the backs of my trades. And of course, there is an homage cover to Spider-Man No More, because, remember, if something's popular, reference it to death. Just absolutely reference it to death until it makes no one feel anything anymore. Because the Hulk book we just reviewed also had a ton of Spider-Man No More references in it. And we get more here. They'll never stop. They'll never, ever stop. But I think all the connecting covers are kind of cool. They don't connect into one big art piece super cleanly. Like, the webs connect on them. There's a big web in the background, and they all connect, but then the characters don't connect. Like, there's one with the big Scorpion, the Limbo version of Scorpion, and he's like half on the cover, but he's not in the art of the next book over, so he's like half cut off. But the web itself is fully connected. It's very odd. It's very uncanny, actually. A lot of the individual covers are really, really cool. Like, I like the one with Spider-Man kind of stuck in the web. I think it's really neat. And I think the Miss Marvel one is really cool, too. And the Spider-Man fighting Chasm one. Oh, and the Spider-Man fighting Venom one. Not the first one, but the later one. Not the one where he's in the kind of golden suit. The one where he's in his regular suit. Some of them are cool, but whatever. Anyways, final thoughts on this Dark Web Omnibus collection. Yeah, if you're reading Amazing Spider-Man and you're reading X-Men, yeah, sure. You can get this. It makes sense, because you're just going to need it to keep following the story. If you're reading Miss Marvel, just get maybe the single issues. Actually, her issues will probably be in a volume. If you're just reading Venom, honestly, if you're just reading Venom, don't get this Dark Web Omnibus. Honest to God, don't do it. If you're just reading Venom, just read the volume of Venom that has the Venom issues. Which I'm also going to review, by the way. Probably, because I think it has issues of Venom that aren't in this as well. I mostly just need it for those issues. But that'll be better to have the full volume for rereading's sake. I'm a big rereader. I like to reread the books I like. So that's it for Dark Web. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I don't know why I still say Facebook at the end of videos. I don't have one anymore. It got deleted because I made a post criticizing Nazis, which is true. That's a real, true thing that happened. That's it. Thank you all once again. I'll see you all next time. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg.